In a new order, Diddy's legal team is seemingly trying to silence the media and the victims by placing a gag order on over 200,000 people. We got Christopher Melcher here to break it down. Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signore, and I'm here with Mr. Christopher Melcher. Welcome back, sir. How you doing?
Great. I'm happy to be here.
This is a wild one, so I'm glad you had time to react, because I was looking at this headline from yesterday, and I'm kind of shocked. There's a new, suit coming in from his team claiming the media, including the Daily Beast, we're looking at a Daily Beast article here, is assassinating his character. He goes in this and sort of goes on to say that there was a Daily Beast article in which a victim's lawyer said she believed Diddy spiked baby oil with this substance to incapacitate women. Ashley Parnham claims she was hard by Combs. She's bringing up that Ariel lawyer we've talked about previously. Combs' legal team wrote to judge saying that Combs' right to a fair trial was being compromised and that prospective witnesses and their lawyers have made numerous inflammatory extrajudicial statements aimed at assassinating Mr. Combs' character in the press, citing NBC, CBS, ABC, etc. Look at all this, Christopher. He's basically trying to silence us all, saying, nope, no more lawyers or victims can speak forward. Is this legal? Is this actually something that could happen?
Well, I don't think it's going to work. What he's ultimately saying is that he has a right to a fair trial, which would include a impartial jury. And by the time this thing goes to trial next year, will they be able to find anyone to serve on that jury who does not already have formed opinions negatively about Diddy, based on all this press coverage? So that's what he's arguing, and he's saying, hey, this needs to stop so that jurors can come in who don't already have preconceived notions of his guilt. The problem is that these statements are not being made by the prosecutor. The court certainly has authority over the parties and their lawyers to tell them to stop speaking or limit their speech, more accurately, leading up to a trial if it would result in an unfair trial occurring. But here, this letter that Diddy's lawyers are filing are directed towards the media, which there is like no way that a U.S. court can tell the media not to report on something. There's maybe one national security exception that's been recognized many, many years ago, and even that's in question. So you can't tell the media stop reporting. That's a silliness that if that's what they're suggesting. Secondly, the other people who have identified themselves as victims and have sued are not necessarily even part of the indictment. We're not clear on that because the indictment does not name the victims. And we've seen all these people that have come up with the Busby lawsuits. And we're not sure that any of the people who are suing and whose lawyers are making statements in the press or even named or will be victims in the criminal case. So, the fact that there's a lot of people out there saying things could be just the result of the fact that he harmed a lot of people, and he just needs to be accountable for that, and he really can't stop them from speaking.
So it's interesting because as we go through these letters and exhibits, they really have been trying everything, but they make a point, and there's a section of this Daily Beast article that is interesting because this lawyer, Ariel, is saying her research says that the baby oil could be used as a conduit for the GHB, etc. Now, there previously had been a back and forth between the feds and Diddy's legal team saying you guys can't actually keep talking to the press. They were trying to claim that the feds were racist was one claim, right? And they were both going back, sort of sharing examples that neither of them should be talking. And the judge said, you're correct, stop talking. Does that include all these lawyers of all these other extra suits, or this is just the Fed case? Like, does this not fall into the same sort of problem that the feds faced when Diddy's lawyers presented it in court, and that, yeah, these lawyers should stop trying to trial it in the public. They need to wait till the case happens. How does that work?
So there's two parties to the criminal case. It's the United States of America versus, Sean Combs. Those are the two parties. And each party is represented by counsel. So the federal court has authority over, the U.S. government and its counsel, and over Sean Combs and his counsel, to saying, hey, here's some restrictions on pretrial statements to the media. So that's possible. But here, the statements that he's complaining about in this letter, or his attorney's complaining about in the letter, are not statements by the government. These are statements by Attorney Busby, who's a civil attorney who is in no way connected to the government. He's just a lawyer who's been hired by people to sue. And then the clients of Busby, and then the other lawyers and clients that are out there making civil claims. Those people are not parties to the criminal case. And like I said earlier, it's not even clear that the people who are suing in civil court, meaning for damages against Sean Combs, are even going to be named victims, witnesses in the criminal case. Now, it would make a lot of sense that the government would reach out to these other folks. I'm sure that's happened, saying, hey, you're identifying yourself as a victim and you're suing Sean Combs. Do you want to cooperate with us? What do you know? And they may end up being part of the criminal trial, but we don't know that at this point. And the court really doesn't have much authority over these other people because they're not parties and not counsel to their action.
I mean, it's a bad look to me because it does seem like they're trying to silence the victims or trying to silence the media. And it's odd because his lawyer has been out there justifying the oil at Costco and doing all this stuff. So like, which is it, right? You can't have it both ways. You can't be out there defending in the press and putting your own stuff. Or can you? How does that work? If everyone's allowed to sort of say what they want, is he allowed to? Is that the best move moving forward? What would you advise, I guess, to his team? Is this a smart move, or does this make it look like he's silencing us all, which to me isn't a good look?
Yeah, I mean, there's rules on pretrial publicity by lawyers in the United States, and we have to remember, federal government did a press conference. Southern District in New York prosecutor came out and made a press conference. We all watched that, and it was powerful and specific. And so the government's doing this too. The thing is that really what these publicity rules do allow for is to saying, hey, if you are a witness, please come forward, help the government. Or Combs' attorney can say, if you're a witness, please come forward and cooperate with us in our defense. So that's an appropriate use of pretrial publicity, is to get that, other people out there to cooperate. Again, they do have to be very careful in the type of statements that they're making. The baby oil, buying it in bulk from Costco, is just silliness. Again, the federal court can clamp down on these lawyers that are involved for Combs and the U.S. government. But here, this letter is attacked, towards the news media, which there's zero authority to do anything about, and other people who just happen to have claims against him who are not, at this point, named necessarily as victims in the criminal case. So again, it just seems like he is getting pummeled. He's got an avalanche of negative information against him, and he's trying to kind of basically unbury himself. But I don't think this is going to do it.
Yeah, it's interesting because this Damien guy, the agent, has responded. The defendant, citing no authority evidence, listed that such an order bind any local and federal law enforcement agents assisting any aspect of the investigation or any related grand jury proceedings, including but not limited to the Department of Homeland. The proposal was plainly overbroad, as it would require the government to be held accountable for potentially thousands of agents in an independent law enforcement agency over whom the government has no authority or oversight. The Homeland Security employs over 200,000 individuals, as it states here. It basically just says this order would be impossible to enforce. Do you agree with this? Is this a silly thing? How do you think this is going to net out?
Yeah, I think it is silly. We kind of understand that there's a lot of high-profile cases. We cover these all the time, and they are able to find jurors. Look at Depp Heard. They found, some people might say, oh, that was a bad example, but we have high-profile cases all the time, intense media coverage, and they find jurors who say that they either don't know anything about the case because they just don't follow the news, or if they've heard things, are able to set that aside and follow the judge's instructions and base their verdict on the evidence that's presented. At least they're going to swear, hey, that's what's going to happen. Yeah. So even me, like I say, you and I have heard all this stuff. It's like, okay, I could serve on the jury. It's like, because I don't believe what people say, just because they say it. It's like I would be able to serve on the jury because I would listen to the evidence. Yeah. So even me that's heavily involved in following this, it's like okay, I mean, the guy sounds guilty, but I would be willing to have an open mind and listen to the evidence and make a verdict.
Yeah, it is
So
all about
I
the
don't
due
think
process.
this threatens his ability to get a fair jury.
No, it's true. There's always somebody out there. Make sure you guys follow Christopher Melcher at C_divorce for more insight. But yeah, he's right. Due process is important, and there's always somebody out there who's not going to have been following this as much as we. It's hard to believe when you're in it and you're watching here with all the people around you. But go outside, go to the mall. You'll find a bunch of people who have no idea what's going on in this case or all these details, and everybody tries to make it seem like everybody is. But there's a lot of people in this world and a lot of people who don't follow the internet as much as we do. So gladly you guys do. So make sure you continue to follow, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell for all alerts, and smash that thumbs up as well. Let us know your thoughts down below. Are you surprised by this? Do you think it's sickening? He's trying to silence the media and all the victims. I want to hear your thoughts down below. We got lots more coming, so don't miss out here on Popcorn Planet.